right. So our agenda today, we are going to take a little time for a quick connection, which is something that's really important to us in Leadership Learning Labs. It'll give you a feel for kind of how we facilitate some of our work together. We'll go through a little overview of the program. We'll have the panel answer some questions, and you can pose your own questions to them as well, and a Q&A. And these two will kind of be combined, either the team or the alumni can help answer your questions depending on what those are. So for our connection, what we'd like for you to do is to take a look at these photos and think of which picture best represents what you're experiencing as a leader today and what's drawing you to Leadership Learning Lab. So which picture might represent what you're experiencing as a leader today and what's drawing you to the Leadership Learning Lab? I'm going to give you a second to look at those and decide. You don't have to put it in the chat or anything. We're going to pop you into a breakout with a couple of other folks just to have a quick connection and give you a feel for what Leadership Learning Lab feels like when you're in a session, and also to warm up the room a little bit. So pick one of these pictures and relate it to what you're experiencing as a leader and what's drawing you to Leadership Learning Lab. In just a second, Courtney is going to pop you into a breakout with a couple of partners, and you'll have about 8 minutes to just kind of touch base on what you're experiencing. And when you come back, we would love to hear a couple of thoughts from your room as well.
All right, folks, you'll be in groups of 3. If you haven't been in a Zoom breakout in a while or before, it should give you all the directions you need. If you get lost or, find yourself not where you're supposed to be, the original link will always bring you back to this main room and we can get you sorted out. But otherwise, Zoom should give you all the prompts to enter the room and bring you back at the end of the 8 minutes. So we'll see you soon.
Hey, welcome back. Here comes the rest of the crew. How was your breakout conversation? Give me like a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Yeah, you can't give thumbs up. Great. Hopefully you had a nice little conversation, warm up the room a little bit. Would love to hear, let me turn my music down. Would love to hear what came up for you in your conversation. What's drawing folks to Leadership Learning Lab? I have a volunteer willing to just unmute and share something from your breakout. What's drawing you to Leadership Learning Lab?
I would offer a quick one, and that would be that it seems though we're coming from a very diverse group of services in a wide-ranging community base, but I think we all, since this is my first time doing this, I think we're all looking for some common ground and perhaps some strategies that we may not have thought of in our communities. That's it.
I love that. Thanks, James. So I'm hearing you all had different backgrounds and maybe different communities that you were serving, but really looking for some tools and some connection and maybe new ideas for serving your community well. Yeah, love that. Thanks, James. Is there one other person that might be willing to share an idea from the breakout? What's drawing you to Leadership Learning Lab?
I'll speak up. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Lucille. Hi, all you folks that I know from years ago.
Yeah,
I'm in the car, so I don't
Melissa.
get to see you. Hi, darlings. I just want to say to everyone that, and I said this in the group, that for me, I had gone through this before, but I was with Charlevoix and Emmett, so it was a different group, but now I'd like to apply for Antrim. And the reason is because of the networking and the people and how this puts you out there in groups and places where you would never think to reach at all. So for all the people who are in this group, get in it. Don't quit it. You're going to love it. It's going to change your life, and your teachers are amazing. That's all I got.
Thanks, Melissa. We didn't even set her up to do that. Nice to see you back.
Thank you.
And she's not wrong. Those connections with leaders across northern Lower Michigan can be really interesting and amazing. And we'll talk about, the ways that you're connecting with folks in your own community. You'll have a cohort, a smaller cohort in your own sort of geographic area that we keep fairly small, 15 or less. And then we have 5 of those cohorts across Northern Lower Michigan. So you have a larger group that you can draw on in other ways when we meet virtually or in between sessions. So really lots of new people to meet and new connections to be made personally and professionally. So when we say learning, connection, and community, like really all 3 of those pieces feel really important for the folks that are participating in Leadership Learning Lab. So glad all of those things came out in those couple of shares. So I'm going
I'm
to.
new here. I just wanted to say hi. First of all, I've never done a learning ship lab at all. And our nonprofit formed in 2020 during a pandemic. So we've had a lot of things, a lot of under pressure things. And I have seen a lot of mentors and a lot of people who have really pushed me towards this. Because our nonprofit is in Charlevoix, Antrim, and Emmett County. We do hit a lot of different avenues, and I think the reason I'm most excited about Antrim County, right, and what was really like my push and my drive to really sign up for this is because yes, all of the counties need help, but Antrim County has the most hidden pockets from what I've seen of people who are truly, truly, truly struggling, and there's not a whole lot of um, I mean, there's tons of nonprofits that help, but in the industry that I'm in, Good Sam is like a very big staple for Antrim County, but there's so many people in Antrim County who are not getting the help and the things that they need that I think if we can focus on any county, given the fact that I'm in all 3 the most, Antrim County is who needs the strongest team. And I am so excited to learn, connect, meet new people. Um, and I've never been more excited to kind of be involved in something like this ever.
Oh, thanks, Natasha. Thanks for sharing that and a little bit about your sort of personal draw based on your experiences in the counties that you serve. One of the things that I think is really interesting and rewarding about being part of this program is learning about all those different, places and pockets of people and need and natural areas and all the different things that you're all serving through the missions of your organizations. And bringing those together with some common ground around leadership and what it takes to be a really effective leader today, especially, and we were talking while you were in the breakout with the panel about all the changes that have taken place since we started the Leadership Learning Lab and, post-COVID, just all the different types of challenges that everyone's facing. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. All right, I'm going to share a little bit of background about Leadership Learning Lab. We have a website that has all the brochures and application forms and all of that. So you'll just look for the county that you are located in or that you serve, and everything will be there. All the information is the same except the dates and locations of where you're meeting, that kind of thing. But I'll give you a little bit of background about Leadership Learning Lab in general here before we get rolling. Um, are you able to see, are you seeing the logo?
Yes.
Okay, good. So probably one of the most important things to share right away is the amazing support for this program. This program came to be from community foundations coming together and coming to Rotary Charities, where we were offering a lot of professional development in Traverse City and asking if there was a way to bring some of that work out to other communities in Northern Lower Michigan to help support nonprofits. At the time, now we've expanded a little bit to also have local units of government and mission-driven business folks participating. And so all of the community foundations, the Fry Foundation and Rotary Charities all provide financial support for this to try to keep tuition really low, and also some thought partnership for the program itself. And so it's really important that you understand that their role is really important and really supports this program well. And they've really fought hard to keep this going for a long period of time since 2018 when we started. I talked about 5 different sites that we have for Leadership Learning Lab. They're shown here. So we'll often refer to just like site 1, site 5 as we get going. But these are the groups that are serving each of those sites, and they're shown in the map here. We started in 2018. We've had over 400 participants to date. We've had 7 actual cohorts since then, with some shifting timelines and COVID and things like that. And we try to keep the cohorts relatively small in each community, as I mentioned. The outcomes, and if you've taken a look at the brochure, you've seen these, but we think it's important to just cover these briefly. One thing is that Leadership Learning Lab is really focused on investing in leaders as a way to strengthen organizations and communities. And so we would be investing in you if you happen to change jobs, if you happen to move to, one of our other communities in Leadership Learning Lab, you are still part of the Leadership Learning Lab community, and we're still here to serve you. So it's not about your organization as much as it is about you and becoming a really amazing and collaborative leader in that work. It's designed to help you become more self-aware, more confident, and a more adaptive leader. It's designed to help you develop new skills for communicating and collaborating with others, to help manage your time, reduce overwhelm, and focus on what's most important, to explore current topics and experiment with leading practices to support your nonprofit, government agency, or mission-driven business, to gain a suite of practical tools and resources, and to develop a network of support within the Leadership Learning Lab. Again, both in your own community and across Northern Lower Michigan. And really that combination of all of that work together is the core of Leadership Learning Lab. We put in a few quotes here from some of our participants. You'll also hear from alumni in a few minutes. So this first one is: participating in the Leadership Learning Lab helps deepen your self-awareness as a leader, how your leadership style affects your team, and how to identify and focus on the work that is truly transformational. A couple here. Really here, I'm not sure I would have made it through the past year in my current role without it. So it can really be that sort of sense of support for you in the challenging work that you do. Help clarify my work, provided me with additional skills to help develop my organization's culture and mission, and reinvigorated the deep commitment I have to my work. It's been an amazing program. Come for leadership training, stay for the life upgrade. And this picture is from this year. Actually, John is one of our alumni that's here today for the panel, but like, look how fun that looks. I thought we should just use that picture for everything moving forward. And we know that leadership today is really different than it was a number of years ago, especially post-COVID. Things are changing so fast. We're so connected. Our challenges are so complex, and we know that that takes a different type of leader to really navigate those changes and to be able to support our teams through the work that we do. So that's part of sort of the core of Leadership Learning Lab. We are focusing on you as an individual, but also trying to be aware of what that means for your organization and for the community that you serve. So that investment in you as a leader really can lead to greater community impact in the long term. So it's a really nice framework to be thinking about. The format, we combine monthly learning sessions. They're either in-person or virtual. The in-person ones will be in your own community. And we have 5 of those. We have virtual sessions. We have, I think, 6 of those this year. There's lots of time for individual reflection. There's prep work and homework before and after each session. We have some small group learning pods where you can join a small group of 3 or 4 leaders from your own community to meet informally outside of Leadership Learning Lab. Those are optional, but we help sort of coordinate that, and then you can schedule and take that on the go. That's a really nice way to develop some deeper relationships with some folks in the group. We also have optional Q&A sessions between the learning sessions. So whatever we just learned about a week or 2 later, you can come to just an informal hour-long Q&A virtually, which is a nice way to like, oh, I wish I had more time to talk about this or ask this question. And then ongoing support from us as your Leadership Learning Lab team as well. All right. So that just kind of visually what that looks like is when we're meeting together virtually, we have folks from all sites together. When we're meeting in person, we have the sites individually, usually 15 or fewer folks in those. And then the small group learning pods are 3 or 4 people from your own site meeting outside of class time, just kind of scheduled at your convenience. The learning sessions that we have lined up for this year are understanding your leadership style, introduction to adaptive leadership, practices of adaptive leadership, time management, fund development, meeting facilitation and inclusive conversations, decision-making and collaborative challenges, conflict management, board development, mission-driven storytelling, and a goal setting and celebration at the end of the year. They run from September through June. And the dates for your specific site will be in the brochure provided for your site. All right. Oh, there we go. And then those are facilitated by a combination of, we have Courtney and Lucille and I shown up here. You'll work with us most closely. Lucille and I both facilitate several sessions. Courtney helps make the program run smoothly. You'll get all the communications from her. She'll get you set up for all the things you need with prep work and post work and all of those things. And then we have Megan Modal, Rob Stennett, Christy Purdue, and Cindy McShirley as facilitators with expertise in particular areas that facilitate sessions as well. If you're wondering if Leadership Learning Lab is for you, a couple of things we want to make sure you know. One is that we consider leadership a practice and not a position. You don't need to be formally supervising other employees to be considered a leader. You don't need to be the executive director of your organization. We welcome leaders from all levels, again, from nonprofits, government agencies, mission-driven businesses, and tribal nations. And if you're not sure, feel free to stay on for a minute at the end of the session and we can go from there. Talk with you a little bit about your unique experience. The commitment and expectations are really important to us. So one is that attendance, when you're making a commitment to Leadership Learning Lab, attendance is really important. So it's not one of those things where you sign up and like maybe pop in here or there because of the strong networking component and relationship building. And because there are a lot of through lines that are really building as we go, attendance is really essential. So attending the kickoff and orientation, that's in September, that's a 2-hour Zoom. Attending 5 in-person sessions, those are 3 hours each. Attending at least 4 of the 6 virtual sessions. So we have some options there, so you can pick and choose the ones that work well for you. You can come to all 6, great. We know sometimes there are conflicts, so there's a little sort of flexibility there. Devoting some time between for your prep work, homework, pods, etc. It's really about 3 to 6 hours in between. And we ask at the end of each year in the post-program survey, like, does that seem like the right amount? And everyone says yes. So I think you can trust that number. We'll never like surprise you with some big project or any of that. You can count on that between. We have a pre-program survey to learn more about you before we get started so we can tailor the program to your needs. We have a DISC assessment that we have you complete before our first learning session, and we have evaluation surveys after each session. So all of those are part of the commitment for Leadership Learning Lab. Maintaining
Just a quick question about attendance.
Yes.
So Feed a Friend is an emergency response unit for Feeding America, Good Sam, Brother Dan. We're kind of all over. If for some reason, especially because we don't know when we get calls sometimes, and I'm the person on the ground, how does that affect my learningship lab if it's something I can't attend?
Yeah, we can chat with you about that offline as well. If folks
Okay.
know, for example, even, you have a conference for one session, then we would say still go ahead and apply. If you know you're going to miss 2 or more sessions, then we usually have people wait and apply the next year because some unexpected things are, can come up. And in your case, if an emergency comes up and you're not able to attend, we can work with you on that for sure. So yeah, thanks for that question. Confidentiality and the norms for participation, which we'll show in a minute, which include confidentiality, again, are really important to us that we want people to feel safe and comfortable sharing challenges. And part of the whole point of this work together is to learn from each other. And so we need people to be able to feel comfortable sharing what's going on without worrying about confidentiality. So it's really important to us. And for that reason, we don't record sessions aside from this one. All right, and here are our norms, and I know it looks like a lot. It's been created over time, and we can modify as we go with the new group if there's something that's missing. But really, some of the key things are starting on time, ending on time. That's a commitment that we have to you, and also that we, expect that folks arrive on time, ready to go, and we'll make sure we get you out on time. Joining with video on when possible. We really find that that creates a better sense of connection and community when we're meeting virtually. Eliminating distractions, respecting each other, participating fully. So, making space for all voices, but also taking space to share your voice and share what's going on for you, participating in discussions, listening with curious mind and open heart, and confidentiality, and communicating with us about your experience and any concerns that you might have. So those are some things that we think are really important as we get started for Leadership Learning Lab. So we'd like to put those out there ahead of time so you know what to expect. Applications are due by June 15th, and we'll make sure the website is in the chat for you. Are there any questions? We're going to move on to the panel for a second, but before we do that, are there any questions about sort of the structure or logistics of Leadership Learning Lab before we do that?
Can you talk about where the sites are, where we would meet in person?
Oh, sure. So site 1 is Manistee, Oceana, and Mason counties, and they meet in Ludington. Site 2 is Charlevoix and Petoskey, and they rotate between meeting in East Jordan and Petoskey at the Community Foundation offices. Site 3 covers a lot of counties that I can't name off the top of my head, but sort of the east side of the state. And they usually rotate between Alpena, that has the sort of the largest geographic area. They rotate between Alpena, Roscommon, and Gaylord. Site 4 is Cadillac area, and Site 5 is meets in Traverse City and covers the 5-county region in this area. Is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Where are you from, Renee?
Manistee.
Manistee. Okay, yes. So you would be meeting in Ludington. Yeah. We're just confirming the which site is hosting on which dates. So the exact, like in September, are you meeting in, for yours, it's always Ludington, so it's easy. But for some of the other sites, if they rotate, we're just working out those dates. So that's why that's not in there yet. Okay, wonderful. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Lucille to start our alumni panel, and we'll kind of move that into the Q&A as well. And we can pop in and answer questions. The alumni can answer questions for you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Colleen, for that overview and really getting into what the framework is in terms of what it's about. What we hope to now is have the alums talk about what their experience has been like, so you can hear directly from them, not us talking about them. And we want you to feel free to ask questions. As Colleen just mentioned, you might go ahead and use the chat to put one in. And we really want to, have you ask some of those questions you've been holding or you're wondering about in terms of just relationships or time commitment or anything that comes up that you're still kind of sitting on the edge about. So before we get started, I know that Colleen introduced our alumni panel, but I'd like each one of you to tell us your name and your organization and your title, and we'll go through each person.
We are just going to spotlight you all.
Okay.
And maybe as I spotlight you, if you want to start introducing yourself, that would be great. Kendra, you're up first. You want to introduce yourself?
Figured it'd be me. I saw my face up there real big. My name's Kendra Luda. I am the Grants and Learning Manager at Rotary Charities of Traverse City. I am a 2020 alumni, so I was part of that group where everything shifted to virtual very, very quickly. We were supposed to be in person, and the team did a fabulous job of accommodating that. So yeah, I will. Do you want me to just pass it along to the next person? I can do a little.
Sure, that'd be fine, Kendra.
All right, John, you are next on my screen here.
Morning, folks. I'm John Troop. I'm the Executive Director of the Benzie Conservation District, and I'm in the program right now. Happy to be here.
Great.
Jen is next on my Zoom panel.
Thanks. Thanks, John. I'm Jen Brown. I'm the Executive Director of Taos Wellness Warriors, and I'm an alum from 2024. And we were fresh as a new grassroots nonprofit getting started. I was very nervous coming into this role, and I have since just gained so much confidence and been able to delegate. And I will say the bonus for me was the extra time that I got with Colleen after to do some one-on-ones and really just share and be heard. And like, that was such a unexpected bonus from this. And then I've also since had my coworker join last year, and so we can speak the same language. It's been wonderful. So that's my experience in a nutshell. Pass it on to you, Laura.
And Laura, we're going to just cover names right now, and then I've got some specific questions I want to ask you all. So
I'm Laura Ackerman. I'm the district manager at Oceana Conservation District.
I'm Candace
Candace,
Hamill.
it's you.
Oh yeah, I'm Candace Hamill, Executive Director with the Father Fed Foundation.
great. All right. So the first question I'd like to ask, and I think on this question, we're going to start with you, Laura. And I'm curious, what's been one meaningful impact or takeaway from the Leadership Learning Lab for you? Let's start with you, Laura.
I continually come back to this, what is most important? And that little tidbit kind of includes how do I show up, being aware of how I tend to do things and also how I could do them a little bit differently if I'm aware of how other people operate differently than me. Also, the importance of having some sort of a plan, especially when it feels the most busy, to take the time to do some planning. And then reminding myself, I saw this in the slides you were showing, but this is a process and a practice. And so I'm continually learning and continually trying to implement the things that I've learned as best I can. And it's been a world of change for how I show up in my day to day.
Love that. Jen, I'll have you chime in on that one. One meaningful impact or takeaway. Anything additional to add to that?
I know I got all excited. So, but the balcony view was a huge one for me to sit back. That was probably day one to be like, let's take a step back and look at everything and how, as a leader, you have to do that. And so I check myself weekly with a balcony view perspective. So.
Great. Okay. And these are key concepts that we cover. And as Laura said, we practice together. All right. With that, let's see. Kendra, anything new you want to add to that?
I think I'll just kind of piggyback on Jen there and just say, just not being afraid to look at myself from different perspectives, even when it's really, really hard, and to learn as much as you can from others who are observing you, which can also be really hard to keep an open mind while doing all of that. So getting the skills to be able to do that in a calm fashion and reflective fashion, I think has been invaluable to me.
Great. So the next question that I'd like to ask, and I think we'll bring in Candace and John, your voices. How has the Leadership Learning Lab influenced the way you lead today, the way you communicate, or the way you work with others? How has it changed that or influenced that? Candace, let's start with you.
Sure. Hello. For me, I think I'd like to think I do. I show up much more adaptive than I used to. Previously, I would catch myself, whether it's a conflict or a problem to solve, I would do a lot of self-reflection, but it was always after the fact. I think I'm better now at sort of arriving, open and being conscious of, being curious and listening. So it's kind of reverse that. It's more being proactive rather than that reactive piece of it. So just in it, I think it honestly calms your nervous system when you're kind of a different sense of a framework there, which my nervous system tends to run tight anyway. So I just feel like, oh, this isn't an emergency and we're going to flow.
Yeah, great. So the mindset of what even showing up as a leader is impacting, what that really means, and how to.
It does. And I think it spills over with communication and, all pieces of it, even all the way to the board level.
Great.
I think that's impacted all of that.
Nice. John, what would you add?
Yeah, and I think Ad is accurate because I have a very similar, takeaway from Candace. And I'll just say it was really fun at the beginning of this to revisit the goals and leaders who are more self-aware was really what I latched onto. I feel like I can be sometimes self-conscious, but that falls a little bit short of self-aware. And so what I mean is sometimes I can be sort of aware of how I am and how I'm being, but less aware of how that's impacting others. And what's really lovely about Leadership Learning Lab is, and I've done a decent amount of reading and some trainings if you have or if you haven't. You hear things about checking in with your team and asking what they need from you, but it can feel vulnerable and scary to do that if you're just sort of trying it, saying those things to your coworkers or your employees for the first time. And so the format of Leadership Learning Lab, where we're all going through this together, we're putting it out there, we put our disc style right in our names and we're talking about this is what frustrates me. This is what I need to be the most effective. And we talk about it really openly and intentionally has not only given me the tools to do that with our team and adjust how I am and how I'm showing up, but actually, you know, honest practice doing that with peers in a safe environment. And so, yeah, just piggybacking off what Candace said, and it's a really effective structure to actually, change your behaviors and your leadership style.
Wow. Yes. So we're once again reinforcement of the practice. Leadership is a practice, not a perfection, not an ultimate goal, but it's a practice. And doing it with others in community is really powerful in terms of making it stick and work. I'm going to open this next question up for all of you. I'll let you chime in. And that is, in one sentence, what would you want future participants to know before joining the program? In one sentence, so keep it short. And I think we'll start with you, Kendra.
Well, I think I'm just going to kind of continue with what you said, Lucille, is that this isn't just like a box to check for like leadership training. It's really just the start of it, and it's kind of being aware of that as you're going into it, of like, this isn't, there's no end, there's not really an end goal. It keeps happening because you're growing as you're going through the program. So just being open to that and being aware of that as you're going into it.
Great. How about you, Jen?
I would say that this Leadership Learning Lab is a gift to yourself for professional development.
Wonderful. Candace.
I love the word gift that you just said, Jen. I would agree with that, but I would also say there's so much to learn, and it might surprise you, the things that sort of surface that you didn't necessarily walk in thinking that you needed, that sort of bubble up.
Good. Laura?
I was thinking you get out of it what you put into it. So being willing to show up and be available for all those things that you didn't necessarily know were going to be there, I think has been a huge benefit for me.
And John.
You all have great answers, and so this is, I think, the third switch I'm going to take for my reflection. So plus one to each and every one of you, but you get out of it what you put into it, and the connections you make along the way. So learning pods are part of this that are optional, and I would strongly encourage you to do those. My pod, it's three of us. One person is a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity, and another is a volunteer, providing support services for folks sort of re-entering society after prison. And the personal connections, sometimes they're therapy sessions, sometimes we're sharing resources with each other, but now I really think of them as friends and contacts and connections that I now just have in my life. That's really wonderful. So take
Mm,
advantage of those connection opportunities from folks, inside and outside of your normal sector, if you will.
great. Good. All right. And I see that people are putting a few questions in, or at least I see one in the chat box. So feel free to go ahead and put your questions in there. And I'm going to change the last question a little bit, and then we're going to open it up to answering more direct questions. But what was the hardest part in terms of making a commitment to the Leadership Learning Lab when you first started?
I'll go with that one only because I was intimidated by the commitment, intimidated almost to the point of I don't think I can do this, but it once you're in it, it doesn't feel like it's not a burden. It's something you look forward to. It's something that actually helps you. So yes, there's a commitment, of course, and yes, emergencies come up. I've been there, but I want to say like the actual I can't even use the word burden, but it's not a significant time suck. I'm gonna go back to what you said, Jen. It's a gift. So if you're intimidated by like, man, I'm not sure I can make everyone, yeah, it's very doable, even in high pressure, high performing positions. And it's
Right.
worth it. Very worth it.
Good.
I'll
Who else would
piggyback
like to
just,
chime in? John?
yeah, just very same. I think I have wanted to. This has been on my radar for like 3 years now, and always was like, nope, I don't. I've got too many other things, too many other. I can't afford to do this at this time. And now I kind of feel like I can't afford to have waited. Like it felt like a waste of time not doing this sooner because I just feel so much more effective and efficient in my role.
Great. And with Kendra, Jen, and Laura, who would like to chime in?
I just say I thought it would be too expensive and like my mom actually paid for me because I was like, I want to do this, but I can't afford to ask the nonprofit to do this. Like we're so young, we're so early. And then my mom was like, here's $300, just go do it. And this will be great for you. So I took the pressure off and I'm so grateful that I did that and so if money's a thing, ask somebody, that's where I was at. I'm like, why not? So yeah. It was worth it,
Mom
100%.
knows best. Thanks, John. Yeah. Kendra and Laura. Or
I
Kendra, you already answered. Yeah,
I
Laura.
think the hardest thing for me was I'm fairly new in my position. I felt like I was already sort of drowning in all of the things to learn, and the idea of, oh, I'm going to take some time to learn some more and do some other things felt a little silly. And yet I feel like the thing that I came to on why was it worth it is I think also in that drowning, I could sometimes feel very lonely. And I think that this program, more so than anything else, gave me a chance to connect with peers and feel like I wasn't alone in a lot of the things that I was struggling with. And that has helped me in ways beyond the content. Um, so.
Well, some great examples of what we truly value and make sure are happening to meet some of those needs. Thank you for that. I'd like to open it up. We've got a question from Courtney here, and so please put your questions in the chat or just raise your hand. Courtney, you ask, how often do you find yourself connecting with your cohort after you go through the program? Let's see. Laura or Kendra? John, you're brand new to this. Jen?
It's been a couple years, but I mean,
I'm
I
Laura
got an
and
email,
Candace.
but we don't stay super close, but every once I know I could reach out if I needed to, so that was nice. But I was a special case, so I think I was like one of the first to come from Iosco County, and so I didn't have anybody that was even remotely physically close. So never being able to get together, that was tough. So that was just my situation, but it was a nice definite bonus to do those small groups set asides too.
Great. Laura, were you going to say something? No, you're good? Okay. We've got another question in here. What is the homework like?
I would to characterize it in general from my perspective, like I said, you get out of it what you put into it, and the homework is very relevant. The homework is more learning about the subject that you're, meant to be learning and prepares you for the lesson. So it depends on the facilitator, depends on the content. Sometimes it's here's a couple articles, here's a TED Talk, here's a 5 minute like video clip. It's very engaging. I think Candace mentioned it's not too onerous, like it's fairly lightweight. And I feel like the facilitators are thoughtful about it because sometimes it's like, well, just connect with your cohort and here's a little bit of a break in the homework this month. So very relevant and very worthwhile.
Candace?
I was just going to say just about the same thing as John did. Of course, we're in the same cohort, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it's very doable. It doesn't feel like it's not an crazy commitment or anything, and it's all very relevant. You just show up sort of ready to learn whatever topic they're on. So I love the TED Talks, things I would never click on just for the heck of it. But wow, once you do, you really see how everything ties together. They're very well thought out.
Yes. Yeah, and I want to echo that too. We're very conscious of making sure the prep work and homework is meaningful. It's not just for you to do time and without any
No,
discussion. And
yeah,
so it definitely relates to where you've been and where we're going together and making those connections. And so that when you do come into the cohort and we are having these breakout sessions, that you've already given it some thought and reflection and can speak to where you are with it. And it just enhances the learning. Any other questions? Got a few minutes left here. Colleen and Courtney, do you see any hands being raised?
Uh, I don't. I did want to add just a little something about what happens after the program. And so three of our panel, I just realized today, are just finishing in June. So they couldn't answer that question for you. But we definitely do hear about folks that are that stay closely connected, especially with their pod members, like John mentioned, like you really get to know those folks really closely. We also have some alumni opportunities. So I know you're just deciding whether to join us to begin, but just so you know, and I think Jen mentioned one of these, like we have some additional support you can access as part of Leadership Learning Lab to get some one-on-one coaching with consultants about a variety of things. We have a time management cohort. We have a peer learning circle where you can, sort of practice some communication skills and learn more about conflict and things like that. So there are opportunities to stay connected with folks in the cohort moving forward. And there's a whole community of folks that have participated over the last few years. And so, not every person continues into all the things, but you can kind of pick and choose what works for you and keep some of those connections strong and make some new connections in future years as well.
Let me just say something real quick. We don't finish until June, but already I just wanted to mention it's like it opens this book of resources for you of people. And I've already connected, I think, 3 separate occasions for a facilitator or help me think this through, or hey, I've got a staff person that could benefit. So you recognize, I mean, those are the kind of resources and connections that will last me well beyond, the actual cohort itself.
Yes. And I'll mention something alumni often tell us they are so thankful for the toolkit that they have accumulated through these months and that they often refer back to it time and time again in terms of, okay, what's a key point I know we covered that would really help me given the situation I'm in right now. So great. All right, with that, Colleen, and being conscious of time, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you, alumni panel. That was great.
Thank you so, so much. I'm just pulling folks off the spotlight here so we can see everyone. If you have additional questions, happy to stay on for a couple of minutes to answer those. Want to honor our commitment to get you out on time, so we're almost there. Thank you so much for participating, for wanting to learn more. The website and application forms and all that are in the chat for you. Many thanks to the alumni. And would love for you to just unmute and say goodbye on your way out. Reach out if you have additional questions, and we're here for you, and hope you want to be a part of Leadership Learning Lab if it feels like the right fit this year or in a future year as well. So thanks for being a part of this. Thanks to Lucille and Courtney for making this run smoothly as well. And we're happy to have you in our community. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.